Looking at the field itself and the educational standards that have been evolving, Diana, historically, how have you viewed that evolution?
One of the challenges with any new field, and cybersecurity is really not unique in this aspect, is that when you're structuring a discipline and different types of programs are popping up at different universities, they're all going to be different. And that's what has happened in our space. We have lots of programs, even if they have the same title of cybersecurity, the content of those programs is usually very different. And that makes it very challenging for students who want to study because the programs are different. It makes it challenging for recruiters from industry or government who want to hire students because they can't tell what they're getting. And so we have to, as a group of cybersecurity educators, get to a place where we can define what a cybersecurity program looks like so that we can effectively market that to students, so that recruiters who are trying to hire these students know what they're getting, and so that we can develop some sense of standards so that we can judge quality of the different programs.
Where are we in that journey towards standards, Diana? You're co-chairing the ACM guidelines effort in cybersecurity?
We are. So the ACM effort is developing curricular guidelines to help institutions around the world develop cybersecurity programs across a range of different topics. And that body of work will provide the foundation for what ultimately will be standards that are instituted by different professional bodies. So we have ABET, which is the association that accredits engineering schools. They have a trial going on right now where they are developing standards for cybersecurity programs. I believe they call them programs in cyber science. And they will be launching that pilot this fall. So we're at the early stages, but we are certainly moving very quickly to be able to get the programs in place.
What would you recommend a student do in these circumstances, Diana, since things are still forming, aren't quite arrived yet in terms of agreement on standards for programs, etc.? What would you recommend?
Well, the first thing that I would do is to make sure that the students understand that cybersecurity, although we talk about it as if it's one thing, really is not. There are a range of different career paths that a student could take, and to really get a sense of what kind of content you need in your education, you need to have a sense of where you want to go. And so I would recommend that they really do some investigation to understand the different types of cybersecurity positions. They can look toward the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education's Cybersecurity Workforce Framework that will at least give them a synopsis of the different types of career fields. And then they can go to a cybersecurity professional or someone at their academic institution that might be able to help them craft the right type of academic pathway if their school does not have a degree in cybersecurity that would allow them to meet the needs of the particular job function that they're interested in performing.
That leads me to ask a question about professionalization, Diana. You've written about that extensively, and I'd like you to share your views on cybersecurity becoming a profession and what that means to these students.
So again, we are at the very early stages of cybersecurity as a profession, but what we mean when we talk about that is professions have certain standards. They have standards of behavior for people who practice in that field, ethical standards, certification standards, educational standards, all of these different components that would go into what we would call a profession. And as we are forming the profession of cybersecurity, we need to think critically about what is required in order to demonstrate that you have competence. Because the whole reason that we put together professionalization standards is so that the members who are practicing in that field can demonstrate competence, so that they can demonstrate legitimacy, so that the general public can tell those individuals apart from others who simply say, yes, I'm a cybersecurity practitioner, but doesn't really have the credentials to back that up. So as we continue to develop professionalization standards, students who want to work in this field need to pay attention and be keenly aware of what is required in order to meet the needs of personal legitimacy, but also that they are able to perform the work at the standard, at the quality that we expect of our professionals in this field.
Diana, that's been a fantastic overview for these students. Do you have any further comments or last thoughts that you'd like to share?
I would just encourage them to join us. We have tremendous needs for professionals to join the cybersecurity workforce, so I encourage them to learn as much as they can. Never stop learning, never stop asking questions, and it's an exciting field. It's an exciting time to be in a place where we can help to secure the nation and the world. So join us.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.